Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know I'm very early doing this live stream, but I wanted to keep what I said. We're doing these streams on Mondays, Sundays, and either Thursday or Friday. But the reason why I'm up so early is because I forgot I have appointments today, and I have this event that I'm going to in the afternoon. So that's why I'm up so early doing this live stream. But I want to get into the COLA. There's been many people who have reached out to me telling me about the prediction for the COLA. Now, these predictions happen every year. This is not unique, this year that someone is talking about the COLA. The COLA predictions, and I've seen maybe 4 or 5 of them. I heard from a man loving freedom, the one, and Mr. Collins for 4.7%, which is the predicted COLA. And now that's just a prediction, kind of like the weather. This is what it should be, but does it always turn out that way? No, it doesn't. So there's a long time between now and when the official numbers from the COLA comes out, which would be in October. So let me just say this, okay, moving forward. The COLA on average since 2010 on average has been about 1.4%. You can definitely go look it up. That is abysmal for an adult to be getting a cost of living adjustment of, on average, with Social Security, $15 to $20 a month more. And with VA, people are getting on average $30 to $40 more, while inflation on everything else goes through the roof. So this is pretty sad, bro. Pretty damn sad. And what's the solution to this problem? Well, it starts with voting in people from your home state and office and able to change the current situation when it comes to the COLA, when it comes to wages, when it comes to living overall. Now, I know sometimes we don't really pay attention to who these politicians are, who we're putting in office from the local level and up. But if you want to make change, that's the only way you're going to make change, is to get some of these old heads that are still in Congress, that are still in positions of power in your states, out of office, and put in people who are actually looking out for the people instead of looking out for themselves. It is a shame, man, when I'm doing research this morning and I'm looking up all this stuff. You guys realize that minimum wage, federal minimum wage, is still $7.25. It's been $7.25 since July 24th, 2009. We are in 2021. $7.25 is the federal minimum wage. That is pathetic. As I mentioned before with Social Security has not been revamped since the 70s. Here we are in 2021. Average Social Security is about $1,100 for a senior. Pathetic. And you're going to give them a 1.4% increase. Now, there are groups out there who want to try to make the increase 3% minimum every year. And you guys know VA follows Social Security. So whatever Social Security gets, the VA will get as well. People who receive VA disabilities, you're going to get the same amount. It is pathetic, man, what these people in Congress are focusing on versus their own citizens. We will give other countries billions of dollars while our U.S. citizens get nothing. We will help countries with aid and everything else. And these countries do need it. I'm not going to say they don't. They do. There's a lot of these countries, man, that if it wasn't for U.S. assistance and some of these other countries assisting them, who knows what happened to them and their citizens. But you got to start at home at some point, man. You got to start at home at some point. And it's just too many people, man, that are just struggling financially in the United States, which causes a lot of stress. This is undue stress that a lot of us go through when you have to make a decision when it comes to your finances. You got to get up in the morning, sit down at your kitchen table, and figure out who's getting paid, who's not getting paid, or who I can push off until the next month. It shouldn't be that way in 2021 in today's day and age. But there are still people out there, man, where, and I'll give you some clear examples. I know two people in my home state right now. They're in their 40s and they're still only making $10 an hour. $10 an hour in 2021. So you're talking about $80 a day. What is that? $400 a week. You take 20% of that in taxes, so you're at $320. $320 a week. And then you do that for the month. You're not even at $1,300. You're at $1,280. And then you got people saying, "Oh, well, I can live in this country on $1,300." Well, hell, there's people in the States doing it right freaking now. Right now, they're doing it. And it's a shame, man, that for all the things that this country is known for being a wealthy country, look at how our citizens are being treated. For me, honestly, I look at it as seniors, depending on your income levels when you were working, I would say seniors, man, a minimum $3,000 a month to keep up with today's inflation, because you're only getting $800 to $1,000 in Social Security. Realistically, what can you do other than buy your medications and sit at home? That's all you can do. As a veteran, you less than 100%, you less than 50%. What can you do? If you can't work, you're still waiting on Social Security. What can you do? What can you do? You are in a position, a vulnerable position, dude, where it takes a toll on you mentally, where you're constantly having to make decisions to give something up just to get by that month. So what would be the solution to these problems? We need new elected leaders. These same people have been in office 20 years, 30 years, who lead both parties. What change have they affected in all those years they've been in office? Very little. Very little. They pretend to fight amongst themselves to gain money from their constituents. But what are they really changing? What has changed? Absolutely nothing. Go back and look at all these different people who've been in office and look where your wages has been, even though they talk about it, which is basically all they're doing is talking. What has really changed? That would be nothing. All of them talk a good game when it comes election time. All of them going to go into different neighborhoods and pander to people and give them little things around the edges to satisfy some groups. But the overall picture, the overall outlook of what has been accomplished the entire time, what, $1,200 stimulus checks, $1,400 stimulus checks, $600 stimulus checks? That's $600 that one time. You're not getting paid that every week or every month. You're getting that what? How many times have you gotten stimulus checks? You guys got what, 3 times? Okay. Well, there's 12 months in a year. You got an extra boost 3 times in 12 months. Yeah, that's not very good math. I'm harping on this, man, because if you going to change in this country, you got to step up to the plate and you got to force change. And unfortunately, there's not enough people that's willing to force change. I don't care how popular someone is. If they're not doing a damn thing while they're in office, what good are they for the majority? What good are they? And it goes back to education as well. Anybody can talk a good game. Hell, I can make myself sound like the best person in the world. But without action behind it, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Okay? So who I got on with me real quick? Good morning, brothers. My medical exam from Ssdi was on Saturday. I hope for the best. Thanks, my brother, for the info that you gave me. Not to worry. Well, good luck to you, Serge. Hopefully everything went well for you. Hopefully you get everything that you deserve with SSDI. But I'm being 100% serious with you guys when I talk about this COLA, man, because that prediction, I'm hoping it comes true at 4.7%. But until October, when it actually happens, I'm just fearful that, hey, It may be another one of these abysmal numbers, 1.4 or 1.5. To give it a minimum of 3%, that should not be a challenge for Congress. You're only talking 3%. We ain't talking 10%, 20%. We're talking 3%. If you're making $3,000, you're only talking about $90 extra for the year. We're not talking about a month you get $90. We're talking $90 extra for the year. So I don't understand why that is so hard for them. But the one thing I want y'all to pay attention to, which they're not talking about yet, is Social Security only being guaranteed for another 14 years to 2035. After that, who knows what's going to happen with Social Security and how much longer they're going to be able to pay it out. Okay? All the times that these politicians, these presidents have been robbing the Treasury Department for Social Security because people are living a lot longer than they used to. There's far more people in the system in Social Security than was anticipated many years ago when they started taking money out of the system. People are living past 70, 80, 90 years old. The average age for someone back in the 90s, especially males, they were dying at 72, 76. Women were dying 82, 83. Now these people move past that point and dying in their 80s and their 90s, some of them in their hundreds. And the system wasn't designed or built around that scenario. The system was built to where it used to be, where you retired at 55 and you died 20 years after that. Well, now people are living a lot longer. And this is what's going to make getting disability with Social Security and everything else dealing with Social Security a lot harder. They're going to have to raise the minimum age for Social Security once again. Right now, early retirement is what? 62, 63? Full retirement is 67. You watch. In the next 3 to 4 years, early retirement will be 67, 68. Full retirement will be 72, 73. They just keep pushing it out further and further, making it harder for people to get on Social Security, as well as people who are disabled. I don't know what you're going to have to go through at that point to prove that you're disabled, but they're going to make it a lot harder. Trust and believe that. So that's why I'm telling you guys right now early, you better start paying attention to who you put in office. Instead of just voting D all the way down or voting R all the way down, you better pay attention to what they're talking about and what their actual plan is, other than saying, I'm with this group or I'm for this person. I'm for this person's policies. Well, what has those person's policies done for you as an individual? Because I don't know how you vote when you do vote, but I know for me personally, I look at how it's going to affect me. What are you talking about that's going to put more money in my pocket or have me paying less taxes? What are you doing that's going to affect me? That's how I vote. I don't know how you guys vote. Who else I got with me here? Mr. Book, both sides of the house in DC get rich once they stay or leave office by our votes too. Yes, these people come in with average money like most people. When they leave Congress or they leave the Senate, they're millionaires. They're millionaires, right? So Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, those people been in office 30 plus years. What is their signature achievement? Can anybody tell me a signature achievement of those three people? Anybody? Good morning, Markel. You can call me Doug. Okay. All right. All right, Doug. Let's see. Who else we got here? Mr. Miles, how you doing today? Good morning to you. Mr. McDonald, with people like Joe Manchin, is going to be hard for us. Yeah, well, you got to look at where Joe Manchin is. Joe Manchin is in a deep red state, West Virginia. And I'm shocked he's been in office or been in Congress Senate. Excuse me. He's in the Senate. I'm surprised he's been in Senate as long as he has. But you got to look at it this way, though, Mr. McDonald. If he didn't vote or did what he did, right, to still get elected every year, that would be a Republican in his spot. And the things that he does agree with on that side of the aisle, they would never get if there was someone else in that state from another party. So he's kind of like doing a dance. Compare where he is, he has to do a dance. There's no way he can just go straight Democrat all the way down the line on anything he does because of the state that he's in. West Virginia is a deep red state. Make no mistake about it. And he has to do this dance, and he has to show them he's willing to buck his own party in order for him to stay in the position that he's in. So it's all just a political game, dude. It's all a game. Because really, even if he voted straight down party lines, what are they actually going to achieve with a lot of these things that help the overall masses versus helping one side of the aisle over the other? And that's the problem, man. It's just a game with these politicians that are playing it. They're getting rich while we get poor, and keep people who are uneducated voting their way, regardless of whatever they talk about. That's just the truth of the matter. Good morning, Mr. Man. Trying to make some money on the market this morning, riding with AMC. Enjoy your day. Politicians are more concerned about being career politicians than the people. Absolutely. You know, they're more concerned about staying in Congress or in the U.S. Senate as long as they can to ride that puppy out, to create contacts, to get incentives from different corporations to vote a certain way. That's basically what it's all about, man. We all know this. We all know both parties are corrupt as hell. There's no point in trying to say one party is better than the other. They're all corrupt. They're all in it for themselves. They're all looking to better themselves above the people. That's just the truth. Good morning, Melvin. How you doing today? Let's see. No need to be shocked, brother, when we have Storm Thurmond as an example. Yes, you're absolutely correct. But I really wanted to talk about this cola, man, and hope that some of you guys don't get your expectation all the way up here with that prediction of 4.7%, because as it clearly states, it is a prediction. It is not a guarantee. So hopefully in October, when the cola is released, it is truly 4.7 or higher. That would be great. That would put more than just $30 or $40 more a year. We're not even talking about a month, a year in your pockets versus these little 1.4, 1.3% cost of living adjustments. And it's like, look around you. What corporation do you know that's only raising their product prices 1.3%? That would be none. These prices are going through the roof with everything. You think about shoes just 5 years ago. They didn't have shoes that were 300, 500. Well, on average, most people didn't have those. Now, try looking at something, any big name brand. Shit, you got to break out your credit card to buy it. Most people do. And then now you paying on it for what, 8, 9, 10 months before you pay off a pair of shoes. That's where we are in 2021. But cost of living adjustment definitely has not kept up. Is it the same in Colombia? What the cost of living adjustment here? I don't see here. I don't really get into too much of the politics here because I try to stay out of their affairs. I just keep up what goes on in my home country. But I can tell you, based upon the wages that I know here and the way that some people have to sign contracts in order to work, the types of contracts that they're signing, how it's never in favor of the workers. Yes, like I said, on average, most people, not most, there's a lot of people here on average that make less than $300 a month, right around 240, 250. If they got a job where they get commission for everything that they sell, obviously they'll make a little bit more. But as far as base salary goes, as far as US dollars, they're looking around 240, 250, 280 a month. That's it. And it pushes them farther and farther outside the city. There's some hour and a half away on the metro, 2 hours, some as far as 3 hours out. Okay. because some people have to move way up in the mountains with their entire family just to make it on that type of salary, and they don't really have a life. Dude, when y'all come here and you try to find a normal um, work girl who has a normal job working, it really depends on what type of job it is and what she does. Because say she works at like an ice cream shop here, that girl's probably going to work 6 to 7 days a week. She's probably going to work anywhere from 9 to 12 hours a day. And the little time that she does get off, she wants to spend it with her family. If she has a kid, she wants to spend that one free day with her kid. So sometimes when you guys come here and you want to date one of these girls and they go, okay, well, can I bring my sister or can I bring my kid? You got to think about why they're doing that. They're doing it because they don't have free time, right? They don't have, like in the States, you normally get the weekends off. That's not how that flows here. Here, they usually work in 6 days. Some work 7 days. And the only time they get a day off, they have to work a double. So they may have to work from 7 that morning to like 10 or 11 that night just to get that day off because the person that they're working with got to work that double the next day. So it's totally different here. Hey, LJ, how you doing, man? You're probably in the DR right now, huh? Let's see. Brother, with beef, chicken, fruit, gas prices going up, this predicted 4.7% in reality should be a starting point. Yes, because that's, again, you take somebody making 3,000. Let's just say, just round it up, give them 5%, right? You're only talking $150 for the year, not even a month. This is for the year. That's all you're going up the year. So it's not like it's a tremendous amount of money that they're increasing to your monthly benefits. That's the thing that people need to understand. These numbers that you're hearing, they sound great, but in the grand scheme of things, they're very minor. Taxation without representation. Can the average person tell you a politician knows how they think? Politicians are to serve us, not the other way around. Well, unfortunately, in this climate, dude, most people in the United States right now just vote their political party. They don't really care what the hell they're talking about. They just know I'm either a Republican, I'm a Democrat. And then independents kind of stuck in the middle. They're like, okay, well, I got to make a decision from one bad choice or a worse choice. Which way do I go? Right? That's where we are in the United States when it comes to politics. You got one bad choice or even worse choice. Because if you ask any of these people who are diehard Republicans or diehard Democrats, what signature policy did you like the most? They probably couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you. They just gonna say, "Oh, well, he's done this, 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 and this." They go to whatever news organization they watch and go to their talking points. They're not telling you anything that affects them in their daily life, where this has made the difference. This is just where we are. I couldn't believe my cousin made $100 a month as a delivery driver. Yes, I mean here, bro. I'm always in shock when I hear, because people here are very different than in the US. In the US, we don't talk about personal finances. We don't talk about bank accounts, how much money we got. All that's private information. Here, people openly, openly tell you everything. Well, I only make this and I spend this for rent. I spend this for this. They will break down their entire finances, tell you from start to finish, right? And then they'll turn around and ask you, and you're like, "No, we don't talk about stuff like that. That's personal." But the point being, man, is it is very different here when they look at finances the way we look at it. But in another way, it's also very different because this is why they're more reliant on family more so than we are in the US. In the US, we're taught to be individuals, to take care of ourselves. And they do it here too. But when it's more of a family issue, they all pull together for the family. So if one person is having an issue and the family can help, the family's going to help as a group. Versus in the US, you try to get your family to help you with some shit. Man, They're gonna tell you, I ain't got no money to help you with, or whatever. It's totally different here, which is why I really like the culture here, because it's way more family oriented. They look at everything as a collective group, where in the US we look at it more on an individual basis. Uh Santo Domingo, yeah. Let's see. I'm finally back in the office. Still a ghost town here in San Francisco. I can't wait to relocate back to Texas. Okay. Oh, you in San Fran? Woo. Okay. Yeah. I've been there in a minute, but yeah, the San Francisco prices, man, will kill you. I don't know where you are in San Fran, but that's ooh, yeah. I remember that distinctly about San Francisco. Let's see. Independently speaking, the military needs a 12% raise, period. Man, the military, look, I'm going to give you my personal numbers, I think, for the military, dude, because you're out doing something less than what, 3%, 5% of the country is doing. Um, Now, military, we should have guaranteed contracts as well, almost like professional athletes. I'm signing up for how long? 10 years? I need $1 million because I'm risking my life. I'm risking my family's livelihood. My life should be worth more than this $250,000 that you just want to pay out in case I do die, or it may have raised it by then. What is it now? It's like 350 or 450 now. But no, we should have contracts like that in the military, but we don't. The same people that you're using to defend this country, sent all over the world, you're paying very little. As an E1 starter, you making nothing. E3, nothing. You're not really making real money unless you much higher ranks and you've been in for a long time. But it's just not fair to a lot of people who are in service right now that get out of service, right? And they did the right things. You get your retirement, and look what your retirement is. You retire as an E5, E6, E7. What do you get? 16, 1,800 a month. And in some cases, they're still taking taxes out of that. So it's like, come on, man. 20 years and you get 1,600 a month. Come on, man. My favorite station is MSNBC. Okay. 4.6 per 4.6%. Oh, okay. 4.7 raise is pretty good. 100% PNT in any job, and you're making bank. Again, see, I look at it totally different. My perspective on that is just totally different. I understand what you're saying, but 4.7% is peanuts. That's a drop in the bucket. I'm keeping it 100. That's a drop in the bucket. You're only talking an extra $150 a year. These percentages are not per month. It's per year on average. Cost of living adjustment for the year. Now, if you're 100% PNT and you're working another job, and you're making decent on that job, then you're doing okay. Because you got to look at it realistically, because I don't know where a lot of you guys live, right? And your perception of what you're thinking of what is a lot to you may be different from someone else. Because I can tell you from people living in major cities, even if you're getting 100% and you're PNT, but let's just say you're getting $3,000 from the VA, and you're working a job that pays you another $4,000 a month. So you're getting $7,000 a month from VA and from your job. Now, to some people, that's a lot of money, right? Depends on the state you're living in and where you're living. But if you're in San Francisco, for example, or you in LA, San Diego, Chelsea, New York, Manhattan, dude, that's middle class. That's middle of the road. And it's probably barely going to get you by as a single person in those states. But if you in small town USA, oh, that's more than enough. State of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Kentucky, and those areas, oh yeah, that's enough for you to do pretty much whatever you want. But in major cities, no. You still gonna have limits making that kind of money. So I just look at it different, man. I know for some people that's a lot, But for others that's looking at it the way I look at, that's, hey, that's a starting point, as Mr. Miles said earlier. Buenos dias. You know my saying, get your finances in order. Oh yeah, you got to do that. You got to do that. You got to get your finances in order. Wow, a different perspective. Independent contractor. Exactly. Exactly. Or start your own, right? I always advocate people to start their own business, to make their own money, because especially in a field like I was in, where I'm going out and I'm dealing with the public and I know what I'm charging, I know what the company's making, and I know what I'm bringing home. The only thing that was different was I didn't have a contractor's license, I didn't have insurance, and I didn't have the clients. Once I figured out those three things, I was off and running. And nobody's going to pay you like you pay yourself. Like I told you guys before, $37, $40 an hour sounds great, right? $37 an hour, $40 an hour. That sounds great, right? You work 5 days a week, $40 an hour. It's just 8 hours a day, $40 an hour, right? That's $200. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's $200 a day for 5 days. That's $1,000 a week. That's only $4,000 a month. You take 20% in taxes, right? You're still gonna come home with $3,200 a month. That's it. That is it. That's not even $40,000 a year. That's peanuts. And I did that math right. Hold up. I said 40 an hour for 8 hours. That's zero. Yeah, that's 200. Yeah, that's 1,000. 4,000. Yeah, you making peanuts. That's peanuts. When you got your own business, and I've told you guys this before, I would make, and this is no bullshit, in the state of Arizona, as an AC contractor in Phoenix, Arizona, I do one install per day. Sometimes I would have 2 or even 3 per day. The minimum I would take home from that job after taxes was $3,500 that day after taxes, after paying the workers, paying the crane, paying for the equipment, paying the taxes, $3,500 in less than 4 hours. Sometimes I would have 2 or 3 of those per day. Do you understand that? That company is never going to pay you that. Never. But as an independent contractor, an independent business owner, that's what I was making. I would even do independent work for other companies. They would call and say, hey, are you available to put this unit in? And how much would you charge? Well, since they've had the equipment and it was their job, well, then I would just give them a flat rate. Give me $1,500 to put it in. I'll make that in 4 hours. Because they were so overwhelmed, they're only paying their workers 15, 18, some make $20 an hour. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to see in the overall grand scheme of things when it comes to an individual versus what a company is going to pay you. Not that I'm telling you to quit your job and go start your own company. I'm just trying to explain to you the difference, right? And that's why I'm trying to explain to a lot of people here, and they're starting to understand what I'm saying, because a couple of them are starting to save because they want to do their own thing. They know the business. Any company that you've been with any point of time, any length of time, you know how that business runs. You know how they make money. You should have an idea of how much money they're making per month. The only thing stopping you from doing the same thing is time. Time and the knowledge of knowing how to get these things up and going for yourself. But I decided a long time ago, with the help and influence of people that I was around, to go out and do it on my own. Because the worst thing that could happen is I fail, I go right back to work for somebody else. But I was lucky enough when I started that I had a lot of people in my corner that was willing to give me things to do, even though they didn't need them, just to keep me afloat until I was able to build up a clientele. So there's a little bit of luck involved in that, but at the same time, you can do it. You can do it. It's just the drive to want to do it. I'm in downtown San Francisco, right off Market Street. The city is a mess, homeless. In Campson, homeless encampments are all over the place. Yeah, San Francisco is expensive as hell. You think working a low-paying job, $20 an hour, would be, while being 100% PNT, is survivable? It's survivable. Yeah, you make $20 an hour. $8 is 165. That's $800 a week. 1,600 every 2 weeks. That's 3,200 a month. 20% in taxes. What is that? 640 from that. You're right around what? Low 2000s plus that. So you're getting around 5,000 a month. Yeah, that's survival. It just depends on what state and city you're living in. Like I said, you're in small town USA, 60,000 plus a year, you'll be okay. You in Los Angeles, 60,000 plus a year, it probably gonna put you on the very low end. Well, you'll be on the high low end of where you can live, because you're not gonna have that many choices. It all depends on where you live, Mr. Sneed, or Miss Sneed, whoever this is, on $20 an hour, because $20 an hour, dude, is poverty. The 3,000 on top of that helps you out quite a bit, but that's still only $5,000, a little more than $5,000 a month. Period. I don't care how you slice it. That's $60,000 a year. That puts you in the middle of the pack with income, middle of the road. And depending on the state that you're in, yeah, you either doing very well in a state like Alabama, or you suffering, still wishing you had more money in a state like California. That's just the truth. I think entrepreneurship, the best for vets. Oh yeah, absolutely. Take advantage of military service. Take advantage of government contracts. There's tons of vets out there that have gotten with other companies to where they become either the CFO or they become some higher up in management, to where they're getting paid a salary, and they're only getting paid a salary because they are a veteran, and the company is using their veteran. Damn it, I don't know the correct word to use for that, but they're using their veteran status, I'll put it that way, to gain these contracts. That stuff happens all the time. What's up, James? How you doing? From 3142, from 314642 to 329430, 14788. You got a ton of numbers there, bro. But I get what you're saying. You're saying that you'll increase $147.88. Yeah, so I was just rounding up saying 150. But that's it for the year. It's not like you're making this gigantic leap going from 31 to 41. You're only going up $150 on average with that percentage, right? So break it down over the year. How much more did you go up? What, $11, $12 more a month? That's it on average. So it's not like it's a gigantic amount. Hey man, salute from Maryland. You still in Medellin? Yes, sir. How did you like Colombia, and how have the riots affect you, if at all? So I'm loving here. I love the weather here. I love talking to the people with different people here every day. The riots here have not really affected me that much at all. I've only had like 2 different situations here where the protesters have actually come in this area, and all they really did was slow down traffic for a few hours, and that's about it. And then there was one other situation where I wanted to go out of town, but they had the roads blocked, so I wasn't able to go anywhere. Other than those 2 situations, it really hasn't affected me that much at all, because I'm not generally in the area where they are. They tell you in the paper pretty much every day where the protesters are going to be, and I make sure I stay clear of those areas. I'm not trying to be out there with them when they do those demonstrations, trying to cover it or film it just to get you guys an up close look of it, because that's what the news here is for. And I can get it directly out the paper without putting myself in harm's way trying to get clicks. I don't do that. But it really doesn't affect me, and I'm generally not where they are. Primarily, they're protesting in areas that are closer to home for a lot of these people, but every now and again, they will come over here or go to some of the areas where tourists hang out, pretty much like in La Laureles, in Estadio. Like, they'll go over there, but they're mainly on El Centro. That's mainly where they go, and they protest quite a bit in El Centro. I'm originally from Colombia. That's why I'm interested. Okay, cool. But yeah, for me personally, no, doesn't really affect me. Grand Raising Markel, I forgot that SMP stands for Service Connected. What S and P stands for? What do you mean S and P? You mean T and P? Or P and T? I'm sorry, I'm saying it wrong. P and T, permanent and total. Uh, it's permanent and total. P and T, not S and P. You're thinking about the finances, stock market. Uh, any other questions that we got? Now, I'm not trying to, Mr. Sneed, downgrade anyone who's making that kind of money. I'm just looking at the grand scheme of things as a whole, depending on where you live in the United States of America. Because it could be, if you're in the middle of the country, that's decent money in the middle of the country. But on the coast, no. And people on the coast will tell you that. There's cats that I know making $80,000, $90,000 a year that live in Baltimore or live in DC. And they'll tell you quick, after they pay their $3,700 or $4,100 a month in rent or their mortgage, what are they really left with? You understand what I'm saying? It all depends on where you are in the country making that type of money. That money sounds great to people in smaller states. But if you're in a bigger state, that ain't enough. No, no, that's a month. That's what I'm telling you. That's not enough. That's not enough. Oh, that's a month. You're saying LJ is saying, wait, am I adding that wrong? I am adding that wrong. You're right, LJ. I'm adding that wrong. That is what you would get extra per month. You're correct, LJ. I'm looking at that. I'm thinking of when I was doing the math earlier. Yes, that's 150 extra per month. Make sure I call it. Appreciate you telling me, LJ, correcting me on that. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. That is per month. I'm thinking about wages and people making that weekly. My fault. You're absolutely correct. Do you think getting SSDI is worth it instead of working? I can't answer that for you because in order to get SSDI, you need to be unable to work. But I will tell you, you're going to always make more working than you will make on SSDI. Okay? Because SSDI is based upon your past income. And I don't know what you were making before, but I do know that with a job, you're going to make far more getting a job than you're going to make on SSDI. Because if you look at your predictions or your calculations that they send out saying if you become disabled, this is what you'll get, those numbers are not right. Because I was predicted to get the max. I don't get the max. So for me, if I had the option, if I could go back to work, I definitely would go back to work. That's not even a question. But I don't know what your circumstances are because with Social Security, that's it. This is what you get, and this is your COLA that you get every year. That's it. Whereas a job, you can go out and make as much as you want. Hell, you can get more than one job if that's not enough, and have a full-time and a part-time versus just getting on Social Security. So that's basically a choice for you. Good to hear that, man. Glad you enjoy Colombia. I'm thinking of moving back. You think I can survive? Okay. I talked about this plenty on my other channel. And all honest, no. I mean, you're from Colombia. So I'm assuming this is my assumption. With your 70%, you're going to live local style since you're from Colombia. Because there's no way in hell you're going to live a Western lifestyle on 70% in this city. So I'm assuming with 70%, you're going to go back to living like a local? Sure. Because you're from here. You know what to expect. You know where to go. You know where to shop. You know where to live. You speak the language. You're Colombian. But for anybody else coming here from the States, never live local style as a Colombian, hell to the no. I'll tell you that quick. Hell no. Standards and Poor's, you talking you talking about the credit rating? Because I don't know what you mean by that S and P. You got me with S and P. I don't know what that synonym stands for. S and P, other than Standards and Poor's, which is a credit rating. As far as VA world goes, I don't know what you're referring to with S&P. Let me look this up real quick. Oops. S and P. I don't know what that is you're referring to right now with S&P. Yeah, and neither does the internet. Because S&P is Standard and Poor's generally, but as far as VA world, I have no idea what you mean by that one. Yes, sir. Living local living. Thanks, man. Yeah. If you're gonna live local, yeah, because you know what to expect. You're Colombian, so you speak the language. You're very familiar with where you're going. You know what the prices are when you get here. So on 70% living local style, absolutely, with those factors in mind. But as an American, never living local style in any of these foreign countries, and you come in with that little bit of money, you you in for a whole different world if you expect to live by yourself. Now, if you come in here like some of these guys, um, living with roommates, and that's how you gonna do it, okay. But yeah, no, no, I never advise somebody that. Do you ever WPRR? I don't know what that is. Never mind. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what that, like I said, Standard and Poor's, S&P, yeah, stock market, S&P 500. Other than that, you telling me something new there. Yeah, S&P 500, Standard and Poor's, yeah. I'll figure it out. Thanks, y'all. S&P? That's a new one for me, bro. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, you got me on that one, T Mix. Now, are there any other questions, man? Because like I said, when it started with the cola, please don't get your hopes up real high on the 4.7%. Last year, it was predicted, I believe, in July to be 3.7. And you saw what we ended up with when it was all said and done. When it was all said and done, it was only 1.3%. That was it. So please don't get your hopes up real high. This happens every year where they come out with these different numbers. And in the end, they come up with what they come up with. Now, this is the president's first year in office. I would suspect it's probably going to be either that or something close to that with his first year in office. But moving forward, I don't know. I wish they would adopt that minimum 3% every year and make that a law that regardless of what it is, you're going to get 3%. But that's not the reality. They're not thinking of putting people in those positions. They're pretty much keeping people on the low end. That's just how it is. C&P, yeah, comp and pen, but he's saying S&P, and he's repeated it a couple different times. So I'm not sure he's talking about C&P, because I don't know what S&P would be. C&P, yeah. I don't think he's talking about C. You talking C&P? Comp and pen? Do you ever worry about the VA reducing you? I'm 100% PNT. I just got rated the ending of last year. No. I've had my rating now 11 years. No. I'm not worried about it in the least. Mainly, I'm not worried about it because I have legitimate disabilities. As long as you have legitimate disabilities, you should never worry. Okay? As long as your disabilities happen in service, they're legitimate, they've been proven time and time again, you should never worry. But I will tell you this, since you recently got your 100% rating, I would tell you that they are going to go back and recheck it, kind of like a quality check within the first 5 years. And as long as there's nothing there, you shouldn't have to worry. If you don't plan on filing any more claims or doing anything like that, they really don't have any other reason to even go into your file. The only reason people get reductions is usually because they're either putting in new claims or the VA caught a mistake that they made with their claim, or they've had improvement and they've shown sustained improvement over a period of time. If none of those you fall into that category with, then yeah, I wouldn't worry about it at all. Most people who have 100% PNT go on to live their life and never even think about, rating reductions or anything like that. It's only when people know that they got it on some kind of technicality, maybe, or they got something they shouldn't have gotten. Once they get past that 5-year point, it won't really matter after that, as long as you never put in another claim. I think we will see 3%, but their SSDI insurance by 1.5%. VA follows Social Security. So whatever Social Security gets is what VA is going to get. So if SSDI only gets 1.5, then unfortunately, VA is only going to get 1.5. So it's whatever Social Security gets, VA is going to get the exact same thing. The raise, yeah. The real inflation rate, 15% or more. Absolutely. And that's what I'm telling people, man. This is not even a fair fight. Companies are raising their profits 110, 120%. You get 3 to 5% over here. That's not even fair. That's not even close. P&T should be good to go, right? Yes. P&T, you're good to go. Like I said, unless you're doing something, you filed a bunch of claims, they catch some error, or you made some kind of drastic improvement over a period of time. Other than those factors, no, you should have no worries. You just move on with your life. Don't even think about it. Bill Armstrong absolutely cost $1,300 to feed a family of 4. Oh yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. You got a big family now in 2021 going to the market, and you're in a single household and you only making $20 an hour, you catching hell. You catching hell, bro. Because people hear those numbers, and again, it depends on where you live in the country, because everybody looks at it different. Smaller states, that sounds like a lot. Bigger states, hell no, that ain't close to enough. Is the new VA life insurance not available, or is it still in the works? It's still in the works. That's not going to be available. It's either October of this year or next year, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look that up again. It's still not quite available right now. It's either October 2021 or 2022. Life must be pretty comfortable on that VA disability. Well, depends on where you are. Like I said, there's a lot of different factors into that. For some, yes. For others, it's enough for them to pay their bills every month. But it just depends, Mr. Sneed or Miss Sneed. It all depends on where you are in the country and what your circumstances are. There's some people that's enough alone without anything else. And there's others that's just a drop in the bucket. Did you use an attorney for SSDI? No, I did not. I applied online, was denied the first time, was approved the second time around. I've had, I've been on it since 2010. And I've had two C, I can't even think of what it's called, but I've had two, I can't even think of what to call it now. When they go back and they re-examine your file, I'm drawing a blank on it, but I've had two of those already with Social Security, and I shouldn't have another one because I did the last one in 2019, and I shouldn't have another one for 7 years. So the next one I'll have be 2026, right? So, but it depends on your disability, and I've talked about that before with Social Security. You got legitimate disabilities, it shouldn't be that much of an issue. You shouldn't need an attorney. But even sometimes, especially with mental health, it is a lot harder. I'm not gonna lie. People who don't really have physical and it's just mental, and if it's not something clearly that they can see, you got to fight in your hands. Even with some physical stuff, especially with like backs and things like that, you got to fight on your hand. But if it's something clear that they can see and they go, yeah, because when I went and they told me they didn't understand how I didn't get it the first time, that I got denied the first time. But on the second go round, it was quick. When I filed that appeal, they put it in, it went through like that. And they sent me a letter saying, blah, blah, blah. And I talked to the lady. She's like, I don't know how you got denied the first time around because of the issues that I have. But no, I did it on my own. I want to need to upgrade my 70, having for 8 years, but next summer I'll be 55 years old. I'm going to go for it. By the time they wrap it up, I'll be 55. Okay. How long was your SSDI process? Let's see. When I first filed, it took about, because I was 100% P&T at the time. I think I was 100% P&T for about a year at the time I filed. So it took 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, for me to get the first denial. When I filed the appeal, it got done in 2 months or a month and a half because it was quick. It wasn't the same amount of time it took them to make the first decision. The second decision went through like that. I want to say like a month and a half on the second go around. And, you know, that's where I've been ever since with Social Security. So, yeah, so I want to say it took, with the time I put it in, denied, did it again. So maybe a total of 7 months total. And I was done with it. Bender and Bender was a lawyer with SSDI based in New York. Sometimes will rep you in your area. Okay, yeah, you can get disability lawyers, Social Security disability lawyers, don't matter because it's federal. So you can be in California and get a lawyer out of Florida. Hell, you can be in Wyoming and get a lawyer out of Texas. Doesn't matter. It's federal. So they don't care because they're going to get the same amount. It's fixed. It's a fixed amount. When you're applying for the first time, you have to hire an attorney. They're either going to get 5,000 or 6,000, right? Unless you got some extra, they're going to need you to sign and pay for after you get awarded, right? So for those of you who don't have easy access to medical records, or you haven't been to a doctor in 10 years or whatever it is, and they got to set you up to go see specialists and all this different stuff, you may end up signing something outside of that, saying that you're going to pay them this extra 3,000 once you get awarded your Social Security. So, but it's the same because it's pretty much, it's federal. So they've already got it set up to where they make a certain amount of money. They're either going to get 5,000, 6,000, or they're going to get 4% of your overall amount that you get. Does being on SSDI affect your earning for Social Security retirement at 62? Also, is SSDI taxable? SSDI is taxable if you're making more than a certain amount when it comes to Social Security. If you make over a certain threshold on Social Security, I can't remember exactly how much it is taxable. Most people, though, they don't even get close to making that. Now, does it affect your retirement at 62? No. All it does when you get ready to turn retirement age is go from being SSDI to retirement. You're just getting your retirement early. That's all SSDI basically is. You paid the insurance for if you get hurt, you get injured, and now that insurance is now what's paying you once you get to retirement age. It just switches names from SSDI to retirement. So no, it doesn't affect your overall Social Security. Then you didn't know you were back. Good to see you. What's up, Mr. Brown? How you doing? Did you apply on? Yes, I applied online. You can call, you can apply online, or you can apply in person. But I did it online. It was simple. The form, I think, is based off of 8th grade or 9th grade high school levels. It's a simple ass form you fill out. And they pretty much got all like your social and your work history. They got all that information already. The only thing they're going to need is for you to sign a form releasing your medical information so they can go over it, right? And they may send you to a specialist depending on what you have. Because I had to go see 2 different specialists for Social Security. And depends on what all you write and you tell them. Because I tell people all the time, when you're applying for Social Security, don't just use your VA stuff. Tell them everything, right? Don't just limit yourself to VA. If you were recently in an accident, a car accident, and it left your back jacked up, but in service, you never had none of that. With the Social Security, it doesn't matter when it happens. You want, especially with something recent, you want to add that to your overall information for Social Security to check out, other just relying on VA stuff. So Social Security is everything. VA is just service connected. Social Security doesn't matter when it happened, dude. If it's affecting you today, you want to put that in for Social Security. So you get VA, SSDI. Is SSDI percentage like the VA? Absolutely not. VA, as people know, is anywhere between 0 and 100. And then those of you that's got extra, you get into the SMC category. Social Security is all or nothing. There's no incremental payments with Social Security. You either are disabled or you're not. It's all or nothing. There is no, well, you 50%, you 20. No, you either getting it or you're not getting it. That's how Social Security works. Let's see. Can I buy stocks and sell them without telling SSDI? That's not something you got to worry about because that is considered passive income. Stocks, trading, dividends, you collecting on a rental property, YouTube, all that is considered passive income. Okay. Now you still need to pay your taxes on those stocks and your dividends. You still need to pay taxes on that. But as far as Social Security, and you can go to Social Security's website, they spell it out verbatim. What is taxable? What is considered passive income, and what is considered work income? They spell it out on their website. So anything like that, you can make as much money as you want to make. There is no limit to what you make using the stock market, using anything that's considered passive income. You can make as much money as you want to make. It's when you're physically working, that's a whole different story. I will be 60. Is it worth applying for SSDI? Again, sir, that's a decision you guys have to make. You would need to talk to I would get with someone and decide, based upon your finances, whether or not it's something you want to apply for, and if you meet the disability threshold, right? Because at 60, if you got awarded, obviously you wouldn't have to have a continuing disability review. I couldn't think of what the hell to call it. CDR, continuing disability review. So at 60, you wouldn't have to worry about doing a review, but you would get your money early. Okay. That's basically what you're doing. You're basically getting it before the 3-year period and you're getting it now. You just have to get approved to get it at 60. And you do have several things in your favor being 60 years old and applying for SSDI, depending on your disability. Is there any way to upgrade SSDI? What do you mean by upgrade? Is it always hot over there where you live? It's always springtime weather. So typically the weather is going to range anywhere from the mid to low 80s during the day. Most of the time it's in the high 70s to mid 70s during the day. And at night it's mainly like 65, 64. Every now and again, it'll drop down to 60 or 59, but not very often. Depends on how much it rained that week or that day or that night. But yeah, it's usually within that range. I would say 80 to 70 during the day, 60s, mid 60s to low 60s at night. That's the weather here. Yeah. So for you guys that are thinking about applying for Social Security, look at your disabilities, right? And see what the requirements are for Social Security, because a lot of this stuff you can find online. You really don't. I didn't use an attorney, bro, because majority of the material is on Social Security's own website. And a lot of it you can just see from doing research online of what particular things that they're supposedly looking for, right? For example, it helps that you're 100% PNT with the VA, but that's not a guarantee Social Security is going to give it to you because their requirements are different. They look more at the job market, at what jobs you could possibly do with your current disability. And there's always jobs out there that they come up with that you never even think about that you could possibly do. This is why a lot of people get denied when they apply for Social Security, because the VA may say, oh, yeah, you can't work anymore because of this disability you got in service. Where Social Security will look at that same disability and say, nope, you can go work a job, sitting in a parking lot just collecting money. I mean, they'll think of stuff that, you never think of, that you think, well, I can't work this job or any other job. With Social Security, it doesn't matter what job you had. You could have been an electrical engineer making $200,000 a year. But if you can work as a cashier in Target, they're going to say, okay, well, we're not going to give you this because you could be a cashier. So you got to look at it from that standpoint with Social Security. You just said SMC. Is that Service Medical Connected? That's Special Monthly Compensation. SMC is a payment that is made above the 100% rate. So at 100%, most people know you can get to 100 with the VA, right? And you can get the PNT status with that 100, meaning permanent and total in nature, and pays 32, whatever it is. But for those who have extra disabilities where you need more help, like aid in attendance, you might be housebound, or you have specific injuries like foot drop, like I have, you get paid in a different category above 100%, which is called special monthly compensation. It can range extra from like $120 something all the way up to another $8,000 on top of your $3,000 you're already getting. So there's cats out there who are veterans getting $10,000, $11,000 a month from the VA alone. That's not including Social Security. That are in really bad shape. So it just depends on your disability, the level of disabilities that you have. The severity of your disabilities will determine whether or not you will be in the SMC category. I heard that serving in the military during certain times upgrades your SSA. That would be correct. For those who served during Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and currently, the amount of time that you have in helps with your amount of Social Security that you're receiving. So you're in during certain eras, you get more time, which helps you with the amount of disability you are paid, or excuse me, the amount of Social Security you are paid. People in the Vietnam era didn't get afforded that. That was signed, I think, by Clinton in the 90s. When did Clinton sign that? I know it was signed by Clinton. Can't remember exactly when he signed it. I don't remember exactly when he signed it, but yes, that is true. Depends on the era that you were in. You do get more help with Social Security. Can SSDI increase when and how, if so? SSDI increase with cost of living adjustments, and if you're paying in a certain amount of Social Security on your taxes. So if you're still paying into Social Security, but mainly it increases only through cost of living adjustments, the COLA that we've been talking about, that 1.3, 3.4, whatever it is, that's normally how you get your increase with Social Security. Does Social Security contact your foreign doctors if you're living overseas? Okay, so this goes back to continuing disability review. The only time that I'm aware of where Social Security is going to contact you living overseas is when it's time for you to have a continuing disability review, at which point you would go to your U.S. embassy in whatever country you're in, or a U.S. consulate, whichever one. And with Social Security and VA, at every U.S. embassy, they have a VA rep and a Social Security rep. So if you have a continuing disability review and you're living overseas, that's where you would get your information from, would be the embassy. All your exams will be done through the embassy. If they needed any, all your medical records will be sent to the embassy. Now, if you're here and you're using the foreign medical program that is offered by the VA for veterans living overseas, Your information from when you're seeing your doctors, whether it's psych or whoever, that information goes to the embassy. FMP gets a copy, but all that information while you're living here, like when I go to the doctors here or when I see them online here, every time I see them, that information gets uploaded to FMP, which is in Colorado, and then it's sent to the US Embassy here. So if Social Security ever wants access to it, all I would have to do is sign a release of information form, and they can see everything that I've been doing here in this country. I think they make it really hard because the government doesn't want people on SSDI. Well, that's true. They're starting to make it harder because, like I said earlier, people are living a lot longer. And this system was never designed to be no more than people living about 20 years. Well, people are living way past that. And with more people being disabled now, there's a lot more money coming out of Social Security that was robbed by these other politicians paying for other things. So it does make it a lot harder to get Social Security. Let's see. You can work, you can sit at a desk and put peanuts in an envelope. Yeah, let's see. Can you apply for SSDI when you're on short-term disability? That one, I'm not 100% certain on. That's where you're going to need to call them. The one thing that's different with Social Security than with VA, Social Security will actually give you answers where the VA won't give you much of nothing. So with Social Security, they're pretty much an open book. You get to talk to everybody, even the person that's making the decision in your state. You get to talk to them and ask them what they're looking for, what they need to have, what they're seeing. So I would call Social Security and ask them about your short-term disability and applying. I don't think they're going to stop you from applying, but I do think that there are certain disabilities, payment or payouts where it might be a conflict. So you definitely want to talk to them first before applying and letting them know what it is that you're receiving. Sign back in Desert Storm, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Clinton that signed it. I'm almost positive it was Clinton that signed that bill. I was denied a decade ago for SSDI, but now things are worse. So I decided to hire an attorney. You applied a decade, 10 years ago. Have you been working since then? Well, hopefully you have enough quarters left from the last time you applied and you hiring an attorney, because when you out of quarters, meaning work hours for SSDI, that's it. So hopefully you still have quarters, VAS, to where you can still apply. Yes. Okay. So you still got quarters. Cool. Because that's the thing. And this is what happens. And I made a video talking about this because as a veteran that I know that this happened too, where they waited so long to apply for SSDI that they ran out of quarters. And once you run out of quarters, that pretty much means you ran out of insurance, right? There's nothing a lawyer, anybody else can do once you run out of quarters. That's it. You're out of time. You don't have any work hours left, any insurance left to apply for SSDI. And to find out if you have quarters, you want to contact Social Security and find out if you still have quarters to even apply. All right. Because if you wait too long and then you decide 12 years later, hey, I want to apply for SSDI and you're out of quarters, you're just out of luck. It's a shame that SSDI pays peanuts. Well, it just depends on what you make. It depends on what you made while you were in, right? If you made 100,000 plus, let's just say you had to start working in 12 years, well, you're going to make pretty good with that type of income. But if you only made $25,000, $30,000 a year and you're applying for SSDI, yeah, you're not going to get that much. You'd be lucky to get 1,000. You'd be lucky. You're probably going to get more in the range of $600, $700 a month, because it really goes by your income as well, right? You got to look at people who are paying 100,000 plus into the system. They're paying a ton more taxes than somebody that's paying, a ton more in Social Security than somebody that's making $30,000, $40,000 a year. That's basically how that works with anything. The more you make, the more they take. The less you make, the less they take. So you're not putting in that much. You're not going to get that much out of it. If you're putting in a lot, you should expect to get a lot out of it. That's just the way it works. But all right, guys, let me go ahead and get off here. I got to get myself showered and ready to go today. I got a lot going on today that I wasn't expecting with all these different exams I got called to this morning. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate everybody watching as always. Until the next time, guys, I am out.